episode 384. Welcome, my friends. Last week, I was sad about something that happened in my life. I'm better now, but for a day or so, I felt pretty down. I'm grateful for the fact that I don't have that many reasons to be sad currently in my life. But I've had long stretches of time where I was nothing but struggling with heartache and despair. We all go through times that are filled with anguish, sorrow, and pain. And every time this happens to me, I'm reminded of this quote by Victor Hugo: "Those who do not weep do not see." I'm a fighter. When life gets tough, I pull myself together and get tougher. But sometimes the weight becomes so heavy that I can't hold it any longer. And then I cry. I weep. I surrender to my pain. And when I do, all the weight I have been carrying and trying to hold in suddenly dissolves. It's as if the tears trapped inside were rocks that turned into water as soon as they are allowed to flow free. I hold on as long as I can, especially when I'm with others. I want to be strong. I want to maintain composure. I've got this. I can go on with my day and my life. I will not let this interfere. I try so hard. Crying is deeply personal. I don't like to share it with anyone. When tears fall, I feel others can see into my soul. Now they know everything, and they see how weak I really am. Because the moment I let go, I'm no longer in control. I have given up. And I don't want anyone to know. I also don't want to influence their emotions just because I'm crying. Everyone dissolves to some degree when they cry or when they see someone else cry. Crying evokes compassion for ourselves and for those we observe crying. And that is good. Compassion is humanity in action. It's an avenue for connection and for empathy. Crying is a way to say, I need your support, without words. The moment I surrender in tears allows the other person to connect on a deeper level with me. When all the logical arguments and dreadful silence has ended, tears open up the road again to connect. The more we hold on to our pain, the less energy we have left to reach out to someone else. I'm relieved every time I cry. I feel lighter, refreshed from all that water, cleansed from the inside, and most importantly, crying gives me clarity. I can see, just as Hugo said, it's as if the tears clean not only my eyes, but also my mind. Weeping doesn't remove the pain, but it eases it. With the clarity tears bring comes acceptance. When the weight is finally off my chest, that's when I often come to closure with my pain. By accepting the circumstances as is, no longer fighting them, making my life harder that way, but accepting it, and then moving on. Crying for me is often a goodbye, an ending and a beginning. It's the last thing I do before I move on. Often, I don't know I'm moving on. I often cry because that's when I'm completely lost and in darkness. I remember crying for my grandparents when I knew the last days had arrived. I cried for them when they were still alive. I said goodbye with my tears. And then I felt better. I always do. After crying, the lightness, the clarity, and the peace that settles in after it's all over. My face red, no more tears left, all the weight is gone. The problem and the pain still there, but more in the background now, replaced by more light that shines onto my path, giving me a motivation to start walking again. I don't know why we are so hesitant and so afraid to cry. Why everything else has to come first. The words we regret, the behaviors we feel ashamed of, and all the thoughts that send us in a tailspin. When crying is much more helpful and much less harmful than anything that comes before. If you feel like crying, Don't hold yourself back. If the pain becomes unbearable, then let it out. If the load on your back is weighing you down, lay down and let those tears come out. You will feel better afterwards, and you're able to see again. I want to end with a brief story from writer Paulo Coelho. It's from his blog. The writer Leo Buscaglia was once invited to be on the jury of a school competition to find the child who cared most for others. The winner was a boy whose neighbor, a gentleman of over 80, had just been widowed. When he saw the old man sitting in his garden crying, the boy jumped over the fence, sat on the man's lap, and stayed there for a long time. When he went back home, his mother asked him what he had said to the poor man. Nothing, said the boy. He's lost his wife, and that must have really hurt. I just went over to help him cry. Much love, my friends.